There's really no difference between muscle testing for the wrist and the fingers and the actual APR of it, or the resistor side of the APR. However, we'll go through just to remind you of how you would test them. So we're not really testing individual muscles as such. All we're doing is testing for strength. So we're going for mid-range. So for, first of all, testing the flexion strength of the wrist, which is coming up to the medial epicondyle and up the forearm. So we're testing all these muscles that come up here. We want the medial. So if we look at what the range is, there's the full extent here of the extension. There's the full extension range of flexion. So midpoint somewhere just beyond the flat. And what we want to make sure is it's not the fingers that are pulling up, it's the wrist. So if you put your whole hand across, that should hopefully stop that, and just ask them to gradually start pushing up and gradually increase the pressure. Now, what Tom was doing there was he was starting to use this finger more than he was using his wrist, and that's the kind of thing you want to just try and make sure that it is coming from here, the movement, and not from the fingers. So you might have to stop them and restart them. But that's the flexion of the wrist. For extension, then again, we're looking at this midpoint. So there's the full range there, there's the full range there, so the midpoint's somewhere around about there, and all you're doing is asking them to push up. But now what's on this happening from here, so we want to make sure it's happening from the wrist. That's it. They'll cheat in any way they can if you give them half a chance. Okay. And what we're doing here is, again, this time we're looking at the lateral epicondyle and the muscles that come up this part of the forearm. So that's the wrist flexion extension. For ulnar deviation, this is your ulnar side here, your little finger. And again, we're going from midpoint, so there's the full range, so midpoint somewhere around about there. So we just ask them to push against us there. And for radial deviation, again, we're going for the midpoint, so that's somewhere around about there, and we ask them to push that way.